Hello, this is Bruce. Today we're going to talk a little bit about moving beehives. Sometimes we got to move them. Sometimes we have to move the beehives inside the yard, and sometimes we have to move them to a different yard. So I'm going to talk about both things. First, I'm going to start talking a little bit about moving it to a different yard. There's certain things both types of move have in common. There's a few differences. So this hive here, I'm going to move. I'm just simulating at the moment. There's no bees in here right now. But the first thing that both types of moves have in common is you have to shut off the entranceway in the night, in the dark, when all the foragers are in. Now, you don't have to do that, but if you don't shut off the entrance in the dark, what you'll find is that the foragers will be lost. You know, that may not be a big deal to you. If you're in the bee yard, after a while, they'll probably beg their way into a different hive. But I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go in after dark, and I'm going to close the entrance. What I like to do is I'll take out the entrance board, and I just cut a little 3/4 by 3/4 inch piece of wood, and I put that in the entrance. Now bear in mind, I'm doing this at night, after dark. So I'll block that. I'm going to use just a little bit of Gorilla Tape just to make sure that that stays in place when we move. And I should have cut some in advance to be ready, but anyway, I didn't. Okay, so that's enough to keep the doorway closed. Next thing I'm going to do is strap it down. I put a strap this way. I'll put another one this way, just to make sure that everything is tight and secure. I like these ratchet straps. They're inexpensive. I think I got these from Harbor Freight Tools, and they're handy. The other one is not a ratchet strap, but it should do just fine. Okay, so at night, during dark, I would have shut up the entrance, and now, after it's daylight, then I come and put these straps on. Now, when you're moving a hive, especially a full-size hive like this, especially if it has honey supers on top, remember your back. Lift with your legs, not your back, because you don't want to hurt yourself. You want to get old and beat up like me. But basically, you'll pick it up, and you'll gently carry it over to your vehicle. Okay, so I've got my bees. I put them in my car. Here's something to think about. You want the orientation of the frames inside here to be going this direction, not this direction. And if you think about that, I've got the queen inside here. She's fragile. You do not want anything to happen to her. So if I'm driving and I were to hit the brakes, the motion is front to back. But if I had the hive oriented this way, those frames inside the box could slam together and I could damage my queen. I do not want that. So now, basically, I can close up my car and head off to the apiary. Another serious point I need to mention is ventilation. You do not want your bees to suffocate. That's very serious. I didn't show it to you, but that hive that I just put in my car has a screen bottom board. Now these days, I've got mixed feelings about screen bottom boards. Originally, screen bottom boards were developed as part of your integrated pest management because the thinking was that as the bees moved around, varroa mites would fall off the bees and fall straight through the screen bottom board down to the ground. There's something to that, but I used to put sticky board underneath the screen bottom boards, and I don't see that many. If I'm doing mite treatment, yes, but day to day, I don't see that many mites dropping out. So these days, I'm mostly going to the solid bottom boards. But that's just me. There's a lot of opinions. They say if you ask one question of 5 beekeepers, you get about 10 answers. Okay, so that's about it for moving your bees from one yard to another yard across town. The old rule of thumb is 3 feet or 3 miles. Okay, I'm not going to get into that right now, but moving the bees doesn't have to be real complicated. You just go in, close them up in the darkness when all the foragers are inside. You secure them real good, lift with your legs, not your back, put them in your car. Now, when you're driving with a beehive inside your car, like you just saw me, sometimes bees will find a way and get out. Sometimes your car will fill up with bees. It is honestly not usually a problem. If they get annoying, I'll put my veil on, but usually you can just drive with them in there. I put the air conditioner on full and the windows are up normally, and I just drive, and the bees, when they feel the cold air temperature at the front of the car, they typically migrate to the back of the car, and you'll have a cloud of bees in there. Most of the time the police would be very reluctant to give you a speeding ticket when you have all these bees in the car, but anyway, I have a fellow in our bee club says you're pretty much ticket proof right that time. Okay, now moving bees in the same yard is very similar. The elements are the same. You're going to close the door off, close off the entrance while it's dark. All the foragers are inside. You're going to make sure there's plenty of ventilation. Now here's a difference. Now you're going to want to make sure that the bees have food. If they have plenty of honey, that's fine. If they don't, you have to feed them, because what you're going to do when you've got them closed up, you move them to a new location in the same yard, you're going to leave them closed up inside, the door closed, for 3 days. That's 3 days. They'll be mad at you when they come out, yeah, but by doing that, they'll reorient on the new location, and that'll be their new home. If you don't wait 3 days, they will go back to the original location and hang out like little lost orphans. Collectively, bees aren't real smart. As a colony, they are, but as a one insect unit, they're not real smart. But by leaving them in there 3 days, the keys are ventilation and food supply. Given those two things, they'll be fine. When you open them up on the 3rd day, they'll come out. Let's see if this works. Hi. So it's kind of late at night now, and it's dark. And I'm going to close up the doors of a couple of hives. I'm going to take you with me. So, kind of a cold, coolish, rainy night for Florida. All right, be right with you. Okay, so this hive is easy. Just going to see if I can turn this. Oh, there. Sorry, that was struggled with it. So these girls are closed up in there. See if I can juggle flashlight and the camera. You girls go in. All right, I think I got it. So what I did was I wadded up a plastic garbage bag, you know, from the grocery store, and I put it in. And so tomorrow I'll move these girls, and then they'll be alone for a few days. Okay, so now it's mid-morning, and I've installed these two hives over here. I put a piece of Gorilla Tape across the front of that one so there wouldn't be any accidents. With this one, that's just a flat board lid, so I had to be real careful when I moved it so I didn't spill it or anything, and I was very gentle moving it. So in 2 more days I will release these bees. Now notice I have plugs on the top, and if they need it, I feed these bees by using a sugar feeder on top. I'm not feeding these right now because both of them have got quite a bit of honey. So they got enough to eat in there. They should have everything they need. Now both of these particular nuke boxes have got ventilated bottoms, and so there's plenty of space for ventilation for these bees. I do not want them to suffocate out here. But yeah, so that's moving the bees in the yard. It's pretty good stuff. You just have to be patient and let the bees alone for a few days. When they come out, they'll reorient, and that'll be home. Okay, so these are these 2 hives that I moved a few days ago. And so I'm going to unleash the bees. Twisted my ankle, so I'm a little sore right now. This thing is tight. Yep, they are ready to come out. This is the 3rd day since I closed them up. Hello, girls. So now you guys got to all reorient and find yourself a new place. Find yourself in a new place. All right, well, that's it. Thanks. So these girls are busy reorienting and figuring out what in the heck Bruce did to them here. Good stuff. Okay, so final thoughts. The operation was a success. I've moved my little nuke boxes. Now, everything would have been the same if these would have been full-sized hives, but I've moved them. They're home. They like what they are, where they are now. And more importantly, I don't have any forager bees hanging around at the spot where these colonies used to be. So I'll show you that real quick. Okay, here's where that one colony was. No foragers hanging around. And here's where the other one was. No bees hanging around. Now where the bees have gone to, just right over here in the same yard. And what I see here is happy bees. They're coming and going about their business. All right. Well, this is Bruce. I hope you've enjoyed this.